Welcome to the Data Science Rabbit Podcast, the official podcast of the Data Science Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Michael Bagalman. On this show, we'll be falling down the rabbit hole into building a corporate data culture, the joy of spreadsheets, and a little suggestion about sometimes winging it. So come along and join the fun.
The Data Science Rabbit Podcast with Michael Bagalman.
Today's sponsor is Monte Carlo Simulation. Use it for anything and everything. Yes, the legend lives on. Monte Carlo is the simulation capital of the world. Your numerical playground, open 24 hours. Why solve closed-form equations when numerical simulation can get the job done so much easier? It's your freedom to get away from it all, if it means deterministic models. Experience the thrill of generating pseudo-random numbers that look just like the real thing. Choose Monte Carlo for all your simulation needs, because unlike Las Vegas simulation, if your random numbers hit a hot streak, no one takes you in a back room to beat the crap out of you. Monte Carlo. May the odds be ever in your model's favor. No data scientists were harmed in the making of these models. Cannot guarantee the same for their computational resources. Are you ready to lift your company's understanding of data to new heights, outshining your competition? Ever thought how your biggest competitive edge might not come from what data you hold, but how swiftly your team can embrace and apply new insights? Picture a world where your edge over the competition depends not just on what you currently know, but on how effectively you can venture into the unknown. Let's journey back to 2001, a time when the full potential of data was still under the radar for many firms. But at Sony Music, a senior executive with vision built a team to be forward-looking and embrace new technologies, supporting Sony's labels like Columbia and Epic. I was brought in to lead analytics, the first data scientist at Sony Music, although we weren't using that particular title back then. Looking to prove value with quick wins, my boss, the head of CRM, grabbed onto A/B testing for an email campaign. Despite its apparent simplicity, lacking sophisticated processes and tech made it quite challenging. I was excited. Would I be marketing a new album from Bruce Springsteen or Pearl Jam? No. The Essential Barbra Streisand, a compilation of greatest hits. But we gave it our all, setting up a test that looked at both imagery and targeting. Reflecting on my time at Sony, for all their pros and cons, they listened to data, especially when it signaled boosts in sales and profit. The test results pointed toward significant gains by reshaping the email campaigns from business as usual. The success of that test sparked a demand for immediately retooling all of our email campaigns across nearly 1,000 artists, an endeavor that kept me busy for quite some time. But what about companies not yet leaning on data for their decisions? The journey to a data-savvy organization is littered with challenges. You might face simple resistance to change, or struggle to simplify complex data insights for those less versed in the field. Leadership is the key to a strong data culture. When company leaders wholeheartedly back decisions made on data, it sends a powerful ripple through the organization. More than just approval, this requires active involvement. By incorporating data into their strategic and everyday decisions, leaders can inspire their teams to do the same. Consequently, enabling teams to set their data goals with support and direction from management is also essential. This not only elevates the analyst's work, but creates an environment for rapid learning and skill enhancement. Confronting the discomfort with change is going to be important. We're drawn to what's familiar, yet the shifting sands of data science call for flexibility. Encouraging a data culture means ensuring each person in the company understands data's basics. From regular workshops to simple data term of the week emails, a variety of initiatives can increase data literacy. You'll need to dismantle barriers. Fostering teamwork across functional areas can reveal insights and remove the silos that stifle innovation. A collaborative approach encourages knowledge sharing and addresses complex issues more effectively. You must consistently promote a culture focused on learning, where even small discoveries are celebrated. Each new understanding deserves recognition, building momentum and nurturing a curious mindset. Applauding these efforts, regardless of the immediate results, encourages a mindset of innovation. The tools we have today certainly will pale against innovations in the next few years. As Infonomics author Doug Laney said, Most companies have an IT organization, but they haven't thought of the benefits and possibilities of decoupling the I from the T and managing information and technology as separate assets. Consider the evolution in natural language processing with AI, revolutionizing customer interactions through advanced chatbots. Augmented analytics are making data insights accessible to all, beyond just specialists. Edge computing facilitates real-time data processing directly at its source, easing server loads, enhancing efficiency. Meanwhile, quantum computing is poised to transform data analysis, turning complex big data mountains into molehills. Here's a quick guide to begin building a data culture today, not tomorrow. Remember, data win. D. Dedicate days for data. Allocate specific days for data-focused discussions, learning, and sharing. A. Accessibility to data. Ensure that all employees have easy access to data and analytics tools. T. Training. Organize workshops and training sessions to improve data literacy across the organization. A. Acknowledge achievements. Celebrate successes and milestones achieved through data-driven insights. W. Welcome curiosity. Foster a culture that encourages questions, exploration, and experimentation with data. I. Inspire by example. Lead from the top by demonstrating how data influences decision-making processes. N. Navigate with data. Work with teams to set clear, data-driven objectives for your business goals. Data for the win.
Hello there, Clarissa Snarkington here, ready to transform your spreadsheet woes into a delightful data dance. Now, before you go all gag me with a spoon and tune out, allow me to elaborate. While spreadsheets may not be as glamorous as the latest deep learning algorithms, they are part of the foundation of our data-driven universe. Consider this: how frequently do you receive a deluge of CSV or Excel files in your inbox? Spreadsheets are your golden ticket to unlocking those treasure troves, and with a few deft pivot tables, you'll be channeling your inner data wizard. And who can resist the allure of real-time collaboration via Google Sheets? Is sending data to another dimension truly worth the bother when spreadsheets can accomplish the task with such panache? Moreover, your finance and marketing chums are also spreadsheet aficionados, so fluency in formulas and functions makes life infinitely more pleasant when you're all striving to converse in the same tech dialect. Need to whip up some insights without unleashing the full might of your big data arsenal? Spreadsheets for the win. Take my mate Samantha, for instance, a data scientist toiling away at an ad agency. She was tasked with analysing the effectiveness of various marketing campaigns across different channels, all in time for a client meeting the next day. The analysis required combining data from social media, email marketing, and online ads, all sent as, you guessed it, spreadsheets. While tools like Python and Tableau offer powerful data manipulation and visualization capabilities, Sam opted for Google Sheets to quickly merge and analyze the disparate datasets. With a few deft pivot tables, charts, and trendlines, she was able to formulate hypotheses and build a basic forecasting model faster than you can say VisiCalc. And let's not forget the real-time collaboration features of Google Sheets, which allowed her to share and discuss with the account team, simulating different scenarios ahead of the meeting like a boss. This agile response, facilitated by the accessible and collaborative nature of the humble spreadsheet, provided all the information the client was looking for and helped build a successful marketing initiative that would make Don Draper proud. Are you eager to elevate your spreadsheet prowess? Online courses on platforms like Coursera and Udemy are your ticket to becoming a veritable virtuoso of data wrangling. Diving in isn't merely prudent, it's almost essential if you aspire to be a data science superstar. But listen closely, my fellow data devotees, about polishing your curriculum vitae. Listing pivot tables among your skills is about as impressive as professing mastery of the abacus. True professionals casually drop terms like power pivot to elicit admiration. And VLOOKUP? Don't get me wrong, it's a timeless classic. But index match? Now that's what'll make heads swivel. Think of VLOOKUP like a trusty old landline, and index match as your sleek new smartphone. Macros. Indeed, a touch of automation is undeniably cool, but if you're not fluent in VBA, you've barely scratched the surface. Conditional formatting makes data pop, but the genuine spreadsheet ninjas are bending formulas to their will, crafting data masterpieces. And don't boast of built-in functions. It's all about data tables and solver for the kind of what-if analysis that's all that and a bag of crisps. My dear friend Emma, an e-commerce whiz, was assigned an analytic balancing act, finding the perfect product price. Too high, and sales might plummet. too low, and profits could be a distant dream. Enter the trusty data table in Excel. With a few clever calculations, Emma explored variations of price, sales, and profit, seeking a pricing sweet spot. Emma then used Solver to determine the optimal pricing across multiple products, while considering constraints such as inventory levels, competitor pricing, and price elasticity of demand. Solver iterated through possible pricing combinations to find the one that maximized total profit given the constraints. So it's high time to buff up that LinkedIn profile and ensure your spreadsheet skills are dazzlingly apparent. Before I sign off, let's take a brief detour into the annals of spreadsheet history, because data science moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Picture this. 1982, the dawn of the home computing era, and Lotus Corporation emerged to dominate the software scene. Lotus 123? An absolute game changer. Spreadsheets, charts, and even some rudimentary database capabilities, all in one nifty package. But here's where things get truly intriguing. Cast your mind back to Lotus Improv, a creation of their team of tech virtuosos. Improv was a revelation. Data, formulas, and views, all coexisting harmoniously, not stepping on each other's toes, but working together seamlessly like Crockett and Tubbs on a warm Miami night. It even made its grand entrance in 1991 on a Next computer, the brainchild of Steve Jobs after his unceremonious exit from Apple. While Improv may not have conquered the world, its spirit lives on in every pivot table we craft. It's like the unsung hero of the data realm, elegant in its simplicity, yet brilliant in its execution. So the next time you find yourself lost in a labyrinth of cells, take a moment to remember that bit of Lotus Improv magic. It's your spreadsheet heritage, after all. And with that, my fellow data aficionados, we come to the end of our little soiree. But before I sign off, I have a proposition for you. You see, I'm not just here to wax poetic about the wonders of spreadsheets. I'm here to help you navigate the wild and wonderful world of data, one cell at a time. So here's the deal. If you've got a burning question about spreadsheets, data analysis, or anything in between, I want to hear from you. Whether you're wrestling with a formula that just won't cooperate, or you're looking for the best way to visualize your data, I'm here to help. Just write a comment with your question, and I'll do my best to answer it on a future episode. Think of it as your personal data hotline, minus the hold music and the exorbitant per-minute charges. And who knows? Your question might just inspire a whole new tangent for me to explore, a whole new realm of spreadsheet magic to uncover. Because that's the thing about data, my friends. There's always something new to learn, always a new frontier to conquer. So don't be shy. Hit me up with your burning questions, your spreadsheet stumpers, your data dilemmas. I'm ready and waiting to dive in, to help you make sense of the numbers and come out the other side a true data master. Until next time, this is Clarissa Snarkington, your resident spreadsheet sorceress, signing off. Keep calm and carry on spreadsheeting, my friends. And remember, when in doubt, pivot it out.
Hey there, data science enthusiasts. I have some advice that might raise a few eyebrows. Why think when you can wing it? Okay, before you start thinking I've lost my marbles, hear me out. As data aficionados, we're wired to be meticulous, to analyze every detail, and to strive for perfection. But sometimes, just sometimes, there's wisdom in trusting our instincts and winging it. You've spent years building your expertise, absorbing knowledge, and sharpening your skills. There are moments when it's okay to lean into that expertise, to trust your gut and make swift decisions based on what you already know. Your intuition isn't just a shot in the dark. It's the culmination of all your hard-earned experience. Consider the value and the cost of preparation. Before you tumble down the rabbit hole of over-preparation, ask yourself, is the time I'm investing here really adding significant value? If the answer is a resounding meh, it might be a sign to rely on your existing knowledge and go with the flow. Time is our most precious resource. If the hours spent on meticulous preparation for one task could yield greater value elsewhere, it's worth considering a more spontaneous approach. Sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Some years ago, when I was the head of data analysis in an ad agency, we wanted an early estimate of the ROI on a recently launched campaign. There was a big strategy meeting coming up, and knowing roughly if we were doing great, just good, or otherwise would be pretty useful. This particular client had their own statistician assigned to analyze the campaign rather than including that in our scope, but he was going to take weeks to complete his more detailed analysis. I opened Excel and plotted the sales data over time. Using the data from before the campaign launched, I created a trend line. Then I assumed that the difference between the actual sales and the trend line after the campaign launched would be the extra sales caused by the campaign. I compared the marketing cost to the estimated incremental profit and made my recommendation. Weeks later, when the full analysis came in, mine wasn't exactly the same, but it was pretty darn close, and certainly close enough to support the kinds of decisions that were being made. Don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for careless or sloppy work. Winging it is about confidently applying our expertise when it's most impactful, embracing flexibility, and acknowledging that sometimes our first instinct is our best guide. Let's just acknowledge that not every decision requires exhaustive analysis, especially when we're navigating familiar territory. In the case of my quick and dirty ROI analysis, not everyone could do this. I have years of experience to judge how much historical data was enough to support my trend line forward, how stable the time series was, and so on. If the quick analysis didn't feel right, I wouldn't have presented it. When I was a kid, I saw an episode of Doctor Who, in which the Doctor, played by Tom Baker, is trying to stop an alien trapped on Earth from meddling in time travel. Facing the villain, the Doctor says, "I can't let you fool about with time." Quick with a comeback, the sinister alien says, "What else do you ever do?" But the Doctor had a response. "Ah, well, I'm a professional." Have a listen.
I can't let you fool about with time. What else do you ever do? Oh, well, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing.
If you're a professional, you've done your analysis. You've done it for years. And sometimes you just need to apply it in an instant. And sometimes you need to spend a little more time on the specifics of this particular case. The wisdom lies in telling one situation from the other. Ask yourself if there is an urgency at play. Is a good answer now more valuable than a great answer later? And are you dealing with familiar territory or looking at a novel situation? Perhaps most importantly, what's the risk? If the stakes are fairly low or the margin for error fairly wide, winging it makes more sense. High stakes, big money, or even life and death? Maybe winging it isn't the best option. But my point is that sometimes you want to trust your knowledge and experience. To wing it. Think about how you might apply this in your work this week. Let me know in the episode comments a time when winging it worked out for you. Or a time when it didn't. Keep in mind, it's not about thinking less. It's about knowing when to trust your wings.
This has been the Data Science Rabbit Podcast, hosted by Michael Bagalman. Find the Data Science Rabbit Podcast on all your favorite social media, including YouTube and TikTok. Follow Michael on LinkedIn or visit datasciencerabbithole.com.